Sponsored by Bud Light. Everything's corporatized. You know, there's a great documentary out there called The Corporation. May not agree with all of it, a little left-leaning, if you will, but it's got some great tidbits in a 3-hour presentation. And one of those tidbits is gold and 9/11. And I always thought that was very interesting. Another one is Monsanto and them lying about the milk. And there's so much more in that documentary that is so valid, and just how they were able to patent life that wasn't human. And it just, the entire disgusting story of the corporation. You should go check that one out. That one's been around the mainstream media a little bit. It's been on some mainline television networks. So please support that movie as well. Bill Clinton's summit evolves amid financial crisis. See, Bill Clinton is getting older. He's trying to stay relevant. He's a think tanker. He wants to be remembered for more than a president. You know, who knows? Maybe this is the first president of the UN. I know he'd jump on it. He loves the power. Responding to global recession, former U.S. President Bill Clinton's philanthropic summit this year will focus on the ways for companies to profit. See, companies always have to profit. And how are they going to profit? Well, they're going to tackle poverty. Makeshift FEMA centers, they'll be profiting from those. They'll be sponsoring the mobile vaccination centers and vans for your children. I'm sure they can profit that way from poverty. Climate change, carbon tax for you. Health and education. Health and education together again for the very first time, laughably. And when they say health and education, it's makeshift vaccination centers in your kid's school so you can take three spot shots for the swine flu. They'll say, yeah, you know, this was so great this month. The other 2 mandatory shots are coming up as well. We'll do those in 3 weeks, and then 6 weeks later. Line them up. I'm sure you can make billions if you get everybody to roll up their sleeve. Pay a little small fee. Weird. Meanwhile, it'll probably get them 6, so the health industry makes even more. Bill Clinton, not a good person. And remember, a lot of these meetings are openly now about overpopulation and eugenics. The last one with Bloomberg and Ted Turner and Oprah Winfrey. Let's not forget Davy Rockefeller, still hanging tall and tough, still out there as the top capo for the New World Order. There's a guy that's more than a policymaker. There's a mover and shaker. There's a guy that's willing to back an agenda publicly. David Rockefeller, no remorse. All right, let's go to some calls. Luke in, I think it's Iowa. Luke, you're online.
Hey, Jason, I was just kind of wondering, you know, how long are we going to go with the soft option? How long do you think we have?
Well, what do you think the hard option is? Because let's be honest. The hard option of us taking arms and executing our Second Amendment right, you're just going to get droned down, buddy. I hate to tell people out there, and I'm not saying that there isn't a time to arm yourself and say no. I'm going to tell you right now, if they come to my door and they say you're taking the shot, or you're going to a camp, that's probably the time to go to the hard option. But if you're thinking that we're going to get into some level where we're going to get
that's when they've got you divided, man. That's when they have you divided.
Let me explain how they got you when you're together and you're organized. Let's say you're lucky enough to get 200 people together. You're droned before you even know it. But did you not hear the article I read today, and I read not even every week, every 2 days, we're talking about these drone attacks? U.S. drone strike kills 45 in Pakistan. Now, do you think that those 40, and by the way, it's 60 in the UK press. Now, do you think those 60 people had any idea that they were about to be evaporated from the earth? Do you think they had any warning before? I mean, literally, snap of the fingers. They didn't see the drone. They didn't see the drone that was 30,000 feet in the sky. And you don't think that they're going to give more international power to the UN and NATO forces, and they don't have this same drone technology? And if they declare martial law in this country, that's not what they're going to do. They're going to have insurrections reported on by local military snitches and their Stasi 4th Youth Center thugs that think that they're doing the right thing, their Boy Scout Explorer program. There will be very little hand-to-hand Civil War combat. That's why I'm warning against this technopoly. Because if it isn't a U.S. drone, it's going to be ripsaws in the street and big dogs firing off there. That's the problem. Let me explain this something to you, sir. We're never going to own the XM-25. You know what the XM-25 is? Have you heard about this one yet?
I know exactly what it is.
Yeah, the XM-25 is going to be used by stealthy, elite military forces. And for people that don't know what the XM-25 is, it comes in different fashions. But the handheld one is a 25 caliber weapon where every single bullet has a microchip in it that can fire around things because it has a GPS in it. So in other words, it doesn't even have a straight shot to the baby maker. If it needs to go around something, it can. It fires through walls, and then within 3 meters of its set target through its scope, and by the way, it looks exactly like the soldier does. It's done up in full camo. It explodes like a grenade launcher. Can you imagine up against that? I'm serious, man. Literally talk about
I know you're serious. I know you're serious, but that's never going to go away. I'm not
saying it's never going to go away, but there is a way that the public can get checks and balances on the system so it doesn't get out of hand, so that it's not used in a civil war scenario, so that soldiers don't have access to that, so that somebody isn't willing to, mount the Xbox controller and go on a drone-happy killing spree. You know what? There's a lot of people out there that disagree with me. First of all, I hope it never comes to that hard force option. But if it does,
they are going to make it that way. Know that. I've been listening to this kind of talk radio for 15 years, man. 15 years, and I've not seen any change. The only change I've seen is them getting closer and closer to their world government.
Well, they have all the money.
That's all I've seen.
Well, incrementally,
they are always going to have all the money.
I don't know.
While we sit here. Mm-hmm. They're just going to keep going, man.
Well, I'm just saying,
the American people are going to have to wake up.
Listen, I'm with you, and I thank you for the call. But if it ever comes to that hard option that you're talking about, and it may one day, get ready for the mass roundups, get ready for the executions, and get ready for the FEMA camps to have just nightmare scenarios. Nightmare scenarios. So maybe it is something that I'm very uncomfortable with, to talk about, to openly discuss. But again, our technology, the people's technology, well, we got some automatic weapons in some cases. Whoop-de-doo. A few of them might have some rocket launchers and grenade launchers. Nothing. We don't have tanks. We don't have UAVs. We don't got big dogs. I don't got the XM-25. We don't have the Star Wars program that was openly talked about in the 80s. Forget about drones. Who knows what kind of satellite tech they have? Their surveillance is unprecedented at this point. Listen, they're not all powerful. They're not that apex at the top of the pyramid that they'd like to be, the lords that they believe they are. But they're pretty damn close. All right, let's go to Connor in New Jersey. Connor, you're on the line.
Hey, Jason.
Hey.
I don't think you know about this. It's not that big a deal, but I just wanted to prove that they are going public with the whole New World Order thing.
Okay.
A new game for the Xbox. It's called Overlord 2.
Okay.
An achievement listed in the game titled New World Order. Its picture is actually the all-seeing eye, the pyramid with an eye in it, and to earn the achievement is to enslave everyone.
Really? And what's the basis of the game? Is it like a war type, like Risk type game, or what is it?
It said the whole goal of the game is to take over everything.
Okay. And what kind of style are we talking about? First person, third person?
Third person.
It's like a third person game. Now, is it a strategy game, or is it more something like Kill Switch or?
It's more strategy than anything else.
And who's the company that makes it? Is it Microsoft by chance?
No, actually it's not. That's what I thought at first, but actually it's not. It's Triumph Studios.
Triumph Studios. Well, it's something to keep an eye on, and if you can do a short YouTube video about it, we'd love you to send it to writers at Infowars.com and articles at Infowars.com. Write a little blurb about what we're about to see, and it's just more predictive programming for the youth and their little coming out party. Look, there is a new world order, and we're living in it right now, and as that caller just said, it just progresses day by day by day, and I'm trying to kill it. I'm not just trying to slow it down, but we have to take every win we can, and we have to be real about what our goals and achievements can be. I appreciate the call. Let's go to Brad in Arizona. Brad, you're on the line.
Hello,
yes, sir.
How you doing?
Good.
He wanted to touch on two things. The previous caller's discussion on the soft option.
Yes.
And I think it's a good question, and I think obviously doing the hard option is. I agree with you. I think that the hard option isn't something that's viable until last resort.
Exactly. But, let's say this. Let me say one more thing, and I'm going to let you talk. But honestly, sure. Jones is correct when he says ideas are the things that are bulletproof. You know, they use that in V and everything else, but it's true. Ideas and mass movements of the mind are the ones that are bulletproof, and they know that. And that's why in their beginning stages, before they go to their hard options of war and whatnot, they run mass psyops programs on people, mass mind control. Go ahead.
Crazy. Well, I think you guys are doing what we need to do, and that's get the truth out there, expose all this. I think that's our greatest weapon is